It's time with JMU Hall of Famer Delvin Joyce.
Joyce breaks a tackle and goes in for a touchdown. Another spectacular run by Delvin Joyce.
Alongside one of the best signal callers in JMU history.
Bad Lee, he's got plenty of room across the 50 to the 40. He should make it all the way to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, James Madison University.
Together, the duo bring their unique perspective to the podcast, breaking down all the things they're seeing about JMU football. This is To the House. Now, here's Delvin Joyce with Bad Lee.
What's going on, JMU Nation? Welcome to another episode of To the House. I am your host, Delvin Joyce. Some people, Vad, call me the People's Choice. And I am joined, of course, by future JMU Hall of Famer, Vad Lee. Welcome to fall, like officially. Cold weather fall.
Yeah, bro.
Vad.
We both, I promise you guys, we do not like text each other or call each other, hey, what are you wearing? But I feel like we've been in sync. We both got the long sleeves on with the hoodies on. Come on, bro. Got the JM. This is my last piece of JMU article, by the way. I received this when I went to go visit them in July when I went to go speak to the team. So shout out to the Dukes.
I love that. That's dope, man. I mean, listen, you guys started that trend where the players started to get a little spoiled. Because all the guys who were alums with me can attest to this. We got no gear, bro. Like when Mickey came in, we had these gray uniforms. Like they were gray, we called them grays. It was just like a gray top, a gray shorts. Didn't even have a JMU logo on it. Like it was bad.
That's hilarious.
And then Mickey came in and was like, why are y'all wearing this crap? And he got us like some Nike mesh shorts. And you would have thought the dude brought like a pot of gold from the end of the rainbow to us. That's how excited we were. So, yeah, you guys were spoiled.
I will say Coach Withers was a big swag guy. I feel like he kind of started that trend. And at one point, I felt like, man, we was almost like the East Coast Oregon program over here. I mean, we had the different uniform combos, the helmet combos, the chrome helmets was pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
So, anyway, you got to have –
bro.
Hey, man, you got some big ball guys and you got some big swag guys. And, hey, we were definitely big swag.
Yeah. Withers was a swag guy, man. I love that. I mean, a lot of people credit him with taking our program from like, sort of, stagnant mediocrity to, kind of what it is today, right? Like that big time program. I think Mickey, of course, on the field got us there, but I think the attitude and the mentality of the program sort of changed under Withers. Bro, we had home and away uniforms. That's it. Home, away. You guys had like 10 combinations.
What's interesting? We had so many combinations, and I'll be honest, when Signetti first came to JMU, because Mike Houston, he still allowed some different uniforms and different things, but Signetti wore 2 uniforms, and I remember like I was serving as a chaplain that year, and I'm like, bro, this ain't it. Like this guy, who is this guy, and what the heck? Why is he changing things? No music at practice, 2 uniforms, home and away. That was it. I mean, hey, he has his formula, and it wins. I eventually came on board because at first I was like, man, what the heck is this? Because I had all the swag when I was playing at JMU, but it just shows you that different coaches value different things, and there's not really one philosophy or one way that really works. You know what I mean? Like there's so many ways to get dubs and so many ways to run a program.
Yeah, man, you're exactly right. But you know what? The X's and O's don't matter if you don't have the Jimmies and Joes. And the way you get the Jimmies and Joes, unfortunately, in this day and age of social media and all the hype, you gotta have the media, you gotta have the uniforms, man. Now it's funny you say that about Signetti being a home and away uniform guy, because of course in 2023, I guess he went outside of that and we went with the blackout and the blackout uniforms, and we dressed in black and gold as if we were App State on college game day and lost that game. But so we'll get there. We're fast forwarding. Let's talk about the first thing that I want to talk about, man. The Dukes are ranked, right? Finally cracked the top 25. We've all been waiting on this for the entire season. Number 25 in the coaches poll, number 24 in the AP poll, and then right behind us in the AP poll is South Florida. So finally, for the first time this season, I believe, and I'll have our producer correct me if I'm wrong, but first time this season, that we have 2 G5 teams in the top 25 AP poll, right? So, Vat, what do you think about the Dukes finally cracking the top 25?
Rat poison.
Rat poison.
Those,
really? Wow.
That's not coming from me, but that's the words of our athletic director. I seen him tweet, and he was like, "Hey, this is just rat poison," and it just kind of shows. It highlights the focus of our program and what we believe where we believe we are and where we believe we're going.
Yeah.
You might see us, barely getting ranked right outside of it, but man, it's a glimpse of where we're going, truly. And I mean, I'm happy with us being ranked. Anytime you crack the top 25, that's an unbelievable accomplishment, right? Especially, well, it depends on who you are, because like if you're Alabama or somebody and you just trying to crack 25, I mean, that's not an extremely, that's not a compliment really. But if you're a program year 3 into FBS.
Year 4.
All right. Thank you for correcting me. Year 4 in the FBS. Our second time being ranked, I believe, right?
Third.
Oh man.
Third time. I know you're like JMU Thor, right? You went up in the mountain and got fat, and now you came back, and now you back. Like you are back and you are into it, right? So I got to remind you,
hey,
4 years FBS, 3 years
ranked.
Come on,
man. 4 years of FBS, 3 years ranked. All right, cool. All right, we're on track. But no, man, really though, in terms of, all the hard work that has gone into, coach's second year and really just this team identity, trying to really fully understand what this team is all about and how good is this team actually. Think about it from the beginning of the season where we're like, man, what is the identity? What are we doing? We were even questioning some coaching decisions and things of that nature. And now we're far beyond that. And for these guys to win, if you look at our schedule, we have won differently almost every week. It seemed like every week we just kind of like take what the defense or take what the team is giving us and we adjust from there. So you got to give kudos to our coaches, but you also got to give kudos to our players for being willing to adjust and being able to be coachable. And this team particularly just seems like a team that really enjoy each other. They enjoy ball. They enjoy having fun. They're dancing on the field. They're painting their face. I mean, they're making national media outside of just their play, which is sometimes like, man, that's not good, right? But it seems like this team is making the national media from the field, but also like people are genuinely interested in what's going on in the locker room inside of the minds of the JMU football program.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the media attention that JMU is getting, because one thing we know about college football, your brand might be just as important as what you do on the field. And I would say, I don't know about your expectations for the CFP rankings, because as you know, this time of year, the AP poll and the coaches poll, that's just window dressing. The CFP poll is really what matters, and that doesn't come out until this Tuesday. And my expectation, I don't know that JMU is going to be in the top 25 in the CFP poll.
Don't need them to right now.
What I do know, we don't need them to, I agree. But what I also know about the committee is that they appreciate brands. They want big brands in the conversation. And, if we were, I've heard some people talk about a Kennesaw State. And again, no shade to Kennesaw State, right? Like, could a Kennesaw State, if they win the Conference USA, I think they got 2 losses, right? If they had only had 1 loss, could a Kennesaw State crack the top 25 and be the G5? Listen, the committee don't want a Kennesaw State, right? You could always also make the case that they don't necessarily love a JMU, but JMU has a brand. And, I think that that's going to bode well for us, right? Because the powers that be would want the American Conference to represent the G5 in this. It's either someone from the American or Boise State, right? Those are the big brands. Then after that, you got like an App State, and then I think there's a JMU. But I think the fact that we have this brand, we get talked about on College Game Day, unsolicited, right? They give us a full highlight package. I think they showed like 2 plays from the Clemson game, right? We get a full highlight package. So that speaks to what I think the level of respect is out there for JMU. What is your expectation for the CFP poll, though? You think we crack it, or you think we're still outside looking in?
I think we're outside looking in, and the reason why is because Louisville dropped this week, right? Who did they play? I'm blanking.
Yeah, they lost to Cal, a tough Cal team.
Now
man.
Cal is tough. I've watched Cal play.
Cal is tough, bro.
Yeah. Their quarterback is amazing.
He's a beast. And that receiver, that 5'7" receiver they have, DeJesus, bro caught 16 passes, including the game winner. Walk-off.
Really?
16 passes.
I didn't catch
How do you let a guy catch 16 passes?
Wow. See, I didn't catch the game, but man, I tell you what, Louisville is one of the teams that I go on my ESPN app and I go and see if they won. Like, I want them to. I've been wanting them to win as JMU. We've been wanting them to win every single week because that's our one loss. And the better they do, the better chances for us, right? So I was upset to see that they lost, but I think that obviously doesn't favor us well in terms of them losing because they're ranked and ranked high. And so I don't think we crack it this week, but I don't think we need to. You know what I mean? I think that we still have that edge where being in the top 25 wasn't on our goal list, right? That's not on our goal list. Like we're striving for beyond that, and that has been the case from the very beginning. So for us, I don't think we need to. I don't think we will, nor do I care to.
Well, I think it helps, though, because that perception, you got to get people comfortable with the idea of JMU being that G5 representative, in my opinion. And so in successive weeks, the more eyeballs are on this program, the more people get comfortable with the idea, right? The question for me is, are we at least ranked ahead of South Florida in the CFP poll, right? So last week, remember, Memphis was not in the top 25, but the committee, of course, had to slot them in as the G5 representative, as the highest ranked, even though they weren't in the top 25. So they slotted Memphis there.
Gotcha.
My question coming in, even if JMU is not in the top 25 this week, does the committee slot JMU as the G5 representative, or will they go with a South Florida?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm curious to see that.
Yeah.
But of course, JMU did themselves some favors by winning a game in Huntington, West Virginia, this week, man. And that, I gotta tell you, man, I loved the performance of this team in this football game, and I'll tell you why. I thought it was a very, very gutsy performance. I honestly, bro, you know this. The hardest thing to do in college football is to win a game. It's hard to win, and it's especially hard to win a game on the road in a hostile environment with a great fan experience for the other team. But it's also very, very hard to win when you add the additional incentive and motivation around what was largely a very emotional time for the entire team in that community as the commemoration of the 75 game, right? Play for the 75. And I thought Marshall did a fantastic job with all of their commemorations, all of the ceremonies around that, and the tributes on the helmets of the players. I just thought it was really, really well done. So Vad, for me, this was maybe the best win of the season for JMU, to go into that environment and win a football game.
Yeah.
So I know you had some trouble watching the game because of a dispute between two large conglomerates, but I guess what were your thoughts on what you were able to see about the game?
Yeah, man. What you just said in terms, and mind you, their head coach is from West Virginia as well. So I'm sure he may have been alive, probably was alive, I guess, during that tragedy. And so I'm sure that affected, a bit of his childhood and just being ingrained in that community and of West Virginia as a state in general. But like you said, being on the road, it's hard to win a game, first of all, then it's hard to win on the road. Then it's even harder to win when there's an emotional attachment where these guys are playing beyond themselves. And I think we talked about it last week. A lot of these players may not even remember or know exactly the magnitude of it, but when you see your community surrounding you and almost looking to you as the hope to keep this celebration alive, that really brings another element of like, man, we're not just playing for ourselves, but we're playing for something so much deeper and so much stronger. And so JMU, just on the X's and O's standpoint, Marshall, I thought they did a lot of different things on defense, and they threw a lot of different packages. They, at first it seemed like they were dropping 8. It seemed like Alonzo had some time back there. As the game went on, they started to collapse the pocket a little bit. There were times where he had to run out and just, thank God for that 15-yard penalty, that late hit on the first drive, right? Because without that, that was a third down. Without that, we don't score on that drive, which could change the dynamic of how the start of the game. It was already a close enough game, and that could have changed it.
And I thought it was a poor call. I thought it was a bad call. I thought the ref. It looked worse than it actually was. I think the ref should have kept the flag in his.
Well, shout out to Alonzo, because he kind of slowed up, right? And it's almost like it's almost like teasing a defender when the quarterback is going out of bounds and he's slowing up. It's like, bro, you better get out of bounds or I'm gonna hit you. And that was kind of like one of those things where he was right there on the line and he got hit. I think that they should have let it go, just because at some point, like, I know we like protecting the quarterbacks, but sometimes quarterbacks do things that kind of like, bro, run hard out of bounds if you don't want to get hit. Like, don't reward him, right?
Yeah. I love that you give us that insight, though. So, because that maybe is what Alonzo was doing. He was baiting them. You rarely would see that call on Marshall's sideline. Now, if that had been on JMU's sideline, the team goes crazy and they throw the flag. I was really surprised they threw the flag.
I was too, especially because he was kind of slowing down. But Alonzo is a savvy quarterback. I said it last week on the pod. I believe that he's going to go down as the best quarterback in JMU history. And
I had to give you the Jamaican.
I like that. We might need to get the real version in. That was really good, by the way.
Thank you.
But no, I have 100% like confidence and like no, I guess, competitiveness in my heart to say that, being a former quarterback from JMU and being a quarterback that that played high and played well. I love that I
wait. You played high? Wait. Hang on.
Not high, but bro, come on.
Hang on, man.
Played at a high level.
Is this breaking news? Okay, all right. I just need you to clarify, my guy. I was like, what?
We're not Aaron Rodgers here. Come on now, bro. No, man, just the way he has had to endure so many different challenges and, even moving up to FBS, just a lot of different elements surrounding his career. And even this game, right? There were 2 touchdowns that should be on his stats right now. He might be another conference player of the week right now had we been able to catch those. I don't think he's going to get it. I don't know, but he probably would have had those, catches being caught in the end zone with 2 touchdowns. So obviously this is a different game if we catch those passes. Now the one was a little hot and high, right? On the whip.
Now let me make sure I understand which ones you are talking about. I know one, of course, but what's the other one you're referring to?
When who was it? We dropped a wide open touchdown pass in the end zone.
Yeah, that was Nicky
D. Yeah,
Nick DeGennaro.
Yeah, it was
right?
like a little bit behind him, right? It was like
yeah. It was. How about this? I think for both of those players, I think Nick DeGennaro. I think Nick DeGennaro would tell you that he should have caught the pass, right? He only got one arm back. If you just adjust to the pass and get both hands on the ball, you can catch that ball, right? And I know Nick DeGennaro wants to be an NFL player. An NFL player makes the adjustment and catches that pass, right? However, I also think Alonzo Barnett III would tell you he's got to throw a better ball. And I know Alonzo wants to be an NFL quarterback, and an NFL quarterback throws a better ball in that situation. So I think both of those guys, it would have been a tough catch for DeGennaro, but I think both of those guys would admit that Nick probably should have caught it. Alonzo throws a better ball.
Absolutely. It reminds me of when I had the opportunity to go speak, and I talked about KYP, know your people. And, as a quarterback, and I literally used the example of a quarterback and receiver, right? As a quarterback, we want to be able to serve our wide receivers by making it easy on him because we know our people. We know their strengths. We know their weaknesses, right? And as a receiver, you want to make it easy on your quarterback because you know your quarterback may throw it here, whatever, and you want to make it easy for him. And so, in terms of KYP, I know both of those players would say like, hey, that was my fault. I would have liked to see the receiver, Nicky D, adjust to that and catch it. However, the ball could have been better placed, and that's cool too. But with all that being said, the game seemed like it was closer than what it could have been. A little bit more of a margin, I would say, had we been able to, make those big explosive plays.
Yeah, I mean, that one I even take as sort of a scratch, right? Because we end up having to punt. Marshall then has to punt back to us, and then we score on the next play, right? On the very next play, I think, was a long pass to Jaylon Sanchez for his touchdown of his JMU career, which I can't believe that's the case. But, what was really cool about this game, just kind of going back to sort of the intangibles about the game, like what was really cool about it, and the reason why I said I think this is their best performance of the season, bro, Marshall came out and played a very, very physical game. You could tell, from my perspective, that team was playing for just more than what was on the field. And I think the other thing about it is you could see palpably the momentum change in this game. Like you could feel it. When Alonzo throws that interception, right, when he gets the hurry and the ball pops up and the ball is picked off, you could feel it in the stadium at that moment. I said, here we go, right? And this is, again, and this is what I want to say, the reason I'm so proud of this team, the reason I'm so glad we had this game and this performance is because this is a game last year we would have lost. We would have absolutely found a way to lose this game last season. In fact, we did find a way to lose this game last season because the game that we played at Bridgeforth at the Mullet last year kind of looked a lot like this, right? And, this team found a way to win, and I think that's going to serve us going down the stretch these last three games.
Absolutely. I think it credits to the leadership of this team as well. Every time I hear Alonzo talk, it's kind of like he's just like, he's just level-headed the whole time. Like, he never gets too high, never gets too low. That must be a quote on his wall or something right now because that dude does not get too high, get too low. The only really emotion that you see out of him is when he's dancing and he throws a touchdown and run a touchdown pass, run for a touchdown. Like, you'll see the
I got to say his dancing is getting worse. He's got to go back to the drawing board with some of the dance moves. I'm sorry, man. Like the dance he did after. Bro, the dance after the pass to Jaylon Sanchez for the touchdown, like the dance that he did at midfield or wherever he was, it was awful, man. Alonzo, go back to the drawing board, my guy.
Old vet, way back in the day, coming from Unc. Unc said, "Go back to the drawing board."
Hey, hey, because you know why? I was also an old school Barry Sanders. Just hand the ball to the ref. Do your job, hand the ball to the ref.
You and I relate in that way, right? I was a guy who literally run straight to my teammates because I wanted them to be a part of like the end zone, like the success.
The celebration,
Now, with that being said, that doesn't take away anything from, him and his character and what he's been able to do.
No, and I get
what he's been able to do.
And by the way, I think he's at his best when he's having fun like
Absolutely.
that. So,
and you know what? It's trickled down to the entire team. You know what I mean? Like, you see defensive players dancing. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Right? You see Big Trent like doing some dance moves. I'm like, okay, all right. Now I'm watching the game. I'm starting to move too. I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah.
And so I think it just shows credit to the entire team, the leadership, and just these guys are having fun. That's why I said earlier, it's not, this team seems like they like each other. It seems like they're playing for each other. And what I also appreciate is that most successful teams runs through one or two players, right? Like when you think about the great teams, you think about Tom Brady. When you think about the great Alabama teams, you think about Julio Jones, or you think about the one or two players that like made them great. The Mark Ingrams and just or Cam Newton at Auburn. You know what I mean? You think about one or two players. With this JMU team, there are so many players that you can credit to their success. I mean, Jalen Sanchez was leading the team this week in receptions. That hasn't happened all year,
No.
right?
I haven't had it all year, right?
Of course, now we got a monster in Wayne Knight. I mean, literally puts people to night.
Dude.
He puts people to night, and
I like
and
that.
Just
Night.
he just puts the game away. Now we got a guy like that, and of course we got Alonzo. But when we talk about Jacob Thomas, when we talk about Trent Hendricks, Tyler Brown, we got all of these, DJ Barksdale, we got all of these guys that just continue to show up week in and week out, and it's almost like every week we know somebody is going to show up. We just don't know which one it is. And that's a good problem, or not even a problem. That's a good chemistry to have on a total JMU football team.
Yeah, man. I love I love the Jalen Sanchez, because that dude is scrappy. Like, I had a chance to meet his parents a couple of weeks ago in Harrisonburg, and his dad told me that Jalen was a boxer. Like, I think his dad was a boxer, and Jalen boxes. Wow. And you can see the attitude in that guy. Like, I don't know if you watch him after plays, like, he's always into it and protecting his teammates, which I respect. So for that guy to come out and have a great game, I loved it, man. And, I expect to see more out of him. The other guy, Braden Wisłowski, right? He mossed the guy in that game, right? And the commentator said he mossed him in Huntington against Marshall. He wondered what Randy Moss would say about that. But yeah, I mean, Wisłowski, apparently, like, that's what he does. Like, apparently he's been doing that all season. And so I think the other cool thing that we're starting to see, right? And I don't think we just started to see it this week. I think we've started to see it over the last several weeks as the offense has kind of come into their own, is Alonzo trusting his receivers to make plays. They don't have to be wide open for you to throw them the ball. Throw the ball to him and let him make a play, right? And I think there's a lot of trust there between Alonzo and the receivers.
Yeah,
right
can you as we move forward, I need you to like invest in one of those drawing up so I can draw the plays up and do all of this stuff right here, because I want to talk about that touchdown. It was Jalen Sanchez when. In terms of quarterbacking, right? When you're watching that play, if you go back and look at it, I'm going to give people insight on what Alonzo Barnett seen right there. They had a too high shell safety, meaning they had two safeties, but the backside safety, the left safety, if you're the quarterback, the left safety decided to penetrate up for the run game, right? So we did a little play action. I think it was a little token fake. Already pre-snap, I already know where I'm going with the ball. When that safety came down, now I got two receivers over here running a flood type of concept, a post and like a flood route, which is more like a corner route, or, you run to a deep out to the sideline.
Sure.
The left safety comes down. That means who is left in the middle of the field? That means there's only one safety in the middle of the field, and he is off of the hash, meaning there's really nobody in the middle of the field. That safety has to make a decision. Is he going to come down to the flood concept? If he does go down to the flood concept, then I'm throwing it over his head to the middle of the field, because the cornerback has outside leverage, and I know I can just throw the ball inside to my receiver catching it over this shoulder, right? And so, man, when I was watching that play, it's plays like that makes me want to suit back up. It plays like that, just like, man.
Yes.
It's plays like that just make me want to tell my wife, like, hey, I know you're doing, I know you're making this big salary. You about to make this big salary and being a dentist and doing all, saving the little kids' teeth and doing all of this. And basically you're trying to make me a stay-at-home dad. And I see what you're doing here, but I'm going to play football.
Go play football. Or, bro, the way you broke that concept down, man, I mean, you could go coach football. Right?
With this whole
you could absolutely go be a quarterback coach. Man,
100%. I told myself I would not coach. Maybe when my kids are out of the house, right? Because
that's true.
You're in season and you got to get on the road to go recruit, and then once the season's over, you're away from your family, go to recruit, and then players are leaving you every year that you built a relationship with, and if I do well, I got to move my family, and if I do bad, I got to get fired and move my family. So I'm like, right. I'm good. You know, I get the opportunity to travel to teams. You know, this week I was in Rutgers on Friday. I had a chance to go speak to Rutgers on Friday, and then Saturday I had a chance to go to Clemson and speak to their team. Man, I went 2-0 this week. I think that's you know, I'm cool with that. That's kind of my coaching.
Yeah. I love it, man. I mean, that's a great job coaching, but I really, again, to your point, I think by all accounts, Alonzo watches a lot of film. Right?
The dude stays by himself. He has no roommate.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, you know, that's also an NIL thing. You know, like if I mean, come on now.
He's on the mountain of the Shenandoah Valley.
Come on, man. Come on.
Him and Coach are got houses in the same neighborhood. Him, the AD, and the coach got houses in the same neighborhood.
Bro, my senior year of high school, my senior year of college, I had like 6 roommates. This guy lived by himself. 4. You know, I had a $400 a month allotment check, and the money I made on Thursday nights cut.
Come on, bro. It sounds like we hating now. Let's just go all the way in, because I'm hating.
Hey, right. I'm a hater too, man. We had home and away jerseys, and I got no money.
Bro, we're going to move on. But think about this. When I go and speak to teams, right? Yeah. It is so funny because I'm in the room and I realize at some point when I'm talking to them and I'm encouraging and motivating, and at some point the thought hit me, man, I'm the brokest guy in the room.
Oh, 100%. So it's funny you say that, man. So as I was preparing for my broadcast season this year, because I really want to get good at this broadcasting thing, my weakness is breaking down defenses, right? So I went down to South Carolina, University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks, to see a good friend of mine, Clayton White, who played with me at the Giants. He's now their defensive coordinator. Nice. And my guy literally spent 3 hours watching film with me at their facility, right? Just breaking down Gamecocks film. Then we put on some JMU film, and he broke down everything, right? It was awesome. So it really helped me a lot. Shout out to Clayton if he's listening and watching. But my point is, when I pulled into the parking lot of that facility, the players' parking lot, dude, the cars that I saw in that parking lot, I was like, man, I'm gonna park my little car down the street somewhere. Like it was ridiculous. And I drive a Beamer, right? But it was ridiculous. Anyway,
we got off topic.
Totally. No, that's on topic, bro, because that's going to be relevant at the end of the season.
Let us hate for a little bit.
Yeah, we hate, man. I'm the old man saying get off my lawn. But so I think the other thing for me in this game is the defense, right? So our defense, like I'm going to say something right now. I think that when you look at the last 4 weeks, we've played a mobile quarterback. Right, we had Louisiana and Lunch Winfield. Mm-hmm. Then we went to Old Dominion against Colton Joseph, and then Texas State with Brad Jackson. Bro, Carlos Del Rio Wilson is the best of all of them.
He's amazing.
Like that dude. First off, I love his attitude. I love the way he plays. He had great sportsmanship. He's running our players over, right? And smiling in their faces, dapping them up, patting them on the back. Like, I love this kid, bro. Like, if we get this guy to transfer portal, let's snag him. Because I just love the way he competed in that football game. He ran Trent Hendrick over on one of the plays for like a first down. I was like, man, this dude is a man. And he just got up, took a lick, and kept on ticking. That's from an old ad. You too young for that. But, the dude is just a monster, bro. Like, what did you think about Del Rio Wilson?
Well, it's interesting you bring up that Trent play. I was listening to Dave Riggert on the radio, and I heard it. And Dave was like, whoa, he just ran over Trent. I'm like, in my head, I was in the car, and I'm like, dang, he just ran over Trent Hendricks? Like,
bro,
I know dude is big, but like, that dude is a grown man.
Nah.
He's a grown man. And I was concerned about that coming into this game because even though we've played many different mobile quarterbacks, this was by far the biggest and the most demeanor in terms of this guy had a demeanor that if you are in the way, I am running you over. I'm not going down easily.
Yes.
And so I thought that would be the only concern going into this game. However, in the past game, I felt a little confident that our defense would do well. And I thought our defense did an amazing job in the man-to-man coverage. We also did some different things on defense as well. I mean, we switched, we switched coverages. We was switching formations. We had Jacob Thomas down in the box a lot, where we had an extra guy that for the run game. So I thought we did a lot of different things. And ultimately, I thought that this game tested us on defense in a good way. When everything is going well and, the only team that's, that offenses haven't had 300 yards on or haven't scored in the second half, and all of these statistics, they're great. And I love them, and we want them to stay as long as possible. However, as we continue to mature, there's going to be necessary lessons along the way in order to help you to mature. If you never get those lessons, if you're never in those situations, then finally when somebody like smack you in the mouth when the game is most meaningful, you might not know how to respond. And so I think that our defense, they know how to respond, and our team knows how to respond. Think about when Alonzo threw the interception. First of all, they sent their corner blitz, which was a great. I thought Marshall had a great game plan. I thought that they.
Bro, Marshall ball.
I thought that they had a great game plan. But dude came off the corner. Alonzo didn't see him. Ball gets tipped up in the air. There's an opportunity for the game to be tied. Like, you just put Marshall in a good position to go tie the ball game in the fourth quarter, and our defense held him to a field goal, I believe. And so,
right. Yeah,
man, it just shows like the maturity and strength and the growth. It's cool that we can grow, even though we've been playing well, but yet you still can grow.
Yeah, I my biggest concern was that it looked like, from my vantage point, Marshall kind of controlled the line of scrimmage from an offensive perspective. Now, I know they are a big team. They're big up front on offense and defense. In fact, I mean, even our run game on the offensive side of the ball, like our run game, we had so many runs that just went absolutely nowhere. Yeah. And on defense, they had some runs that, surprising, because we lead the Sun Belt and we're top 10 in the country in rushing defense. And Marshall was able to just chop up 248 yards on the ground. Now, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we had to respect Del Rio Wilson and his ability to maybe pull the ball and run with it. And so a lot of those zone read plays, their running back Roberts just had wide open space. Yeah. And dude is a north-south guy. Yeah. Like, he wastes no time lateral. He's north-south.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
And Marshall, I mean, they forced the run game too. I mean, Del Rio ran the ball 23 times, and I think he had 73 yards or something, or maybe even less.
73
yards. And so 23 carries for 73 yards. That shows that our defense they held it down, even though he was able to get out and get away on some things. I think his longest run was about 20 yards, right? You take that away, that's less than 50 yards, and he ran the ball 23 times. And so you got to give our defense some kudos and credit. They're going to do what they do. You can't stop them from doing, running their quarterback and doing what they do. But we allowed them to, hey, we can't change you. However, for 4 quarters strong, if we remain consistent, then it favors JMU, and which it did.
Yeah. I mean, Del Rio Wilson didn't really chop us up in the run game like that. Like, he didn't have big plays. He just got meaningful yards when they needed.
Yeah, like 4 yards here on the 3rd and 4, and
yeah. And he's a big quarterback, and tackling him, 23 times in a game is going to wear on you as a defense. And that allowed Roberts, Roberts had 121 yards rushing. So total yards, obviously we hadn't given up 300 yards in a game, which meant that we hadn't also given up 400 yards in a game. And then Marshall all of a sudden gets 414 yards in this game, right? Just an offensive explosion against the best team in the Sun Belt, which, I think App State probably sees that as a vulnerability. Absolutely. App State is looking at this game and saying, we could probably run against this team. I will say, from my vantage point, it kind of looked like we were a team that played one game in 20 days. Like, we weren't tight, right, with our run fits. Like, it was as loose as I've seen us with our run fits all season.
That's a great point.
And typically, Yeah, we usually have, there's a guy running and some guy comes out of nowhere and tackles him, right? Like they get 3 yards, cloud of dust. Now, this past week, man, it just seemed like we had nobody there to make the plays. And so I just think, that layoff, the weird, clunky schedule, it's nice that we're going to be sort of back to normal.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I do want to give them credit, though. Like their star player, Lacey, number 4, 5 receptions for 35 yards. I mean, they kept him in check. He had some runs. I think he had another 30 yards running the ball or something like that. But it just shows you that Marshall, their game plan was to their quarterback and get the ball into their best player's hand, number 4, Lacey. And so in terms of production of what we were able to do and stopping their key players, if we don't stop their key players, that puts them in a better position to win the game. But we decided to focus on stopping their key players, and I thought we did a great job. And you talked about, the controlling the line of scrimmage. I thought our offensive line did an amazing job in the pass game. I did not there was one time one of the left tackles didn't have anybody to block, and he was just standing there. Like he was just like, all right, what am I doing here? And so I thought that. I think they had 1 sack, which came late in the game, right before their interception. But I thought that our offensive line did a great job, and I also thought Alonzo Barnett, especially that first drive, we got the help of the penalty, right? So then we scored. The second drive, we went 3 and out. That could have been 2 straight drives, 3 and out, but thank goodness for that penalty. But the third drive is where you really start to see some adjustments. You start to see the RPO, but you also start to see free access. So Alonzo Barnett, I think on the first play of the third drive, or one of the plays, he ended up throwing a hitch route that went for about 5 or 6 yards. That's a design run play.
Right.
And that's not even necessarily an RPO play. That is a free access play. That's a straight up run play. However, if a defender is going to play 8 yards back and give us 5 yards, I can snap that ball and get that ball out of my hands quickly to just get an easy 5-yard completion. And so I saw Alonzo Barnett, and that's something that the coach don't really control. That's something that the quarterback has to be able to dissect the defense and see what they're doing. Oh, this guy is playing at 9 yards. I don't even have to communicate to anybody else. I just know that me and my receiver know what I'm about to do. I don't have to tell the line. Right. I don't have to tell the running back. I don't have to tell my coach. I know exactly where I'm about to go with this ball. And so I love seeing that type of quarterbacking because it lets me know that he is in total control and that he is playing free.
Yeah, he is, man. I thought the offense played really well, man. I thought the offensive line held up really well, in spite of Joe Simmons getting hurt in this game and Josh Toner having to come in and replace him. And I thought Josh Toner did an adequate job replacing him in that spot. And I think the other thought, like when you look at that first half versus the second half, Marshall, I think, said, you know what, we got to get to this quarterback because he's going to chop us up. And so they started really dialing up the pressure in the second half, which, again, if you watch our team historically, we have not been great under pressure. I thought they handled the pressure really well, up to and including the last play on offense when we got the ball out to Wayne Knight, on that 3rd and 4, which was really a 3rd and had to have it. Like we had to have that to ice the game, and then Wayne Knight takes it. So
what are you doing as a running back? What decision are you making right there? Because you basically all you need is a first down, and the game is pretty much over, right? Yeah. They don't have any more timeouts. What is Delvin Joyce doing on that play? Are you going to go score, or are you getting down,
bro? What's the name of this podcast? Bro, I'm taking it to the house. I'm not going down. And let me just first say, man, I mean, that's a little bit on the coaching staff. Like they got to communicate to the team, like, hey, in this situation, if we get an opportunity to score, you either score or you don't. So for Wayne Knight to have that ambiguity as he's running down, I didn't love that because he almost kind of messed around and got the ball punched out. I mean, I didn't love that. He should have had a definitive direction from the coaching staff to say you either score or you don't, right? And I know maybe you weren't expecting that play to break, obviously, but in the situation, guys, if we get an opportunity to score, you either do or you don't. I'm glad he scored because, as you know, one of the things that the committee is going to look at is average margin of victory. And the average margin of victory for us, you know, we're actually, you know, top 15, I want to say, in the country, which is great. And so a 5-point win versus a 12-point win looks totally different. I'm so glad he went in and scored.
Absolutely.
What do you do?
You want me to give you a quarterback perspective?
Give me a QB perspective.
If I throw you a 4-yard, 2-yard route, and we only need 3-4 yards to get the first down, and you get it, you better get in that end zone and get that touchdown on my stat. I need that touchdown on my stat. You better go score. You better not fall on the 1-yard line. Wayne Knight, good decision by Wayne Knight. I don't want to hear all that stuff you just said, Delvin, about coaches tell them to get down. I don't want to hear that. The game was like, I don't know how much time was left. It was over 2 minutes though, right? And I still feel like it was a little far enough where hey man,
go score.
I'm not stopping. We've been struggling, right? In terms of, I think we had 3 straight 3-and-outs or something before that point.
100%.
And so I'm not, as a coach, I'm not coming to you and saying, hey, if we get the opportunity to score right here, make sure you get down. No, we need to put our foot on the gas, because I mean,
But in fairness, if he does take a knee, the game's over.
Absolutely,
right?
but.
And then Marshall did go down and drive and had a chance, and then they could have got an onside kick. And then I was like, man, maybe he shouldn't have scored. But you're right. I agree. Go score the touchdown, and now we get a 12-point win. It looks a lot better.
And you know what?
It makes up for the fact that we didn't score against Louisville at the end of that game.
Right. Well, you know what? Wayne Knight now he had a rushing touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown. 87 yards rushing, 70-something yards receiving. Dude, just I mean, his last name is just Wayne Knight. Put him to sleep,
bro. His brother had a game against SMU this week too. I mean, I think he caught like 7 passes. The artist formerly known as Yamir Knight for JMU, Agent Zero. But you know, Wayne Knight is having like a MVP caliber season. Like you would be hard pressed to tell me, and I know we love Alonzo. You'd be hard pressed to tell me that Wayne Knight is not the MVP of this season.
That's a good one. That's a good one, because I agree with you. I mean, this guy, week in and week out, we have been able to like count on him. Not saying that we haven't been able to with Alonzo, but I think at first, you know, the coaches kind of pigeonholed him a little bit in terms of like, we didn't know what package he was getting in, when he was getting in, but we knew that no matter who was in, we can get the ball to Wayne Knight. And dude does not get tackled by the first man, not even by the second man. This guy has the ability to make 2 miss. And anytime you have that, all you got to do is just get him the ball. And I love how, you know, we seen it at Louisville with their star player. I think he wore number 4 too, or something, or 0. Anyway, their star player, they were finding creative ways to get him the ball. He wasn't having a great game against us, but then next thing you know, they kept giving it, and then one broke. Right? Yep. We was able to see it with Marshall, with Lacey. They're giving him pitches, they're giving him catches. Even though he didn't necessarily have a big game, Lacey, number 4 for their team, didn't have a big game. They still found a way to get him the ball. We have that guy in Wayne Knight. As long as we continue to find a way to get him the ball, then I feel good about our chances no matter who we line up against. We can line up against the number 1 team in the nation, and I feel really good that when we get Wayne Knight the ball, he's going to make something happen.
Same here, man. And it's kind of crazy that, you know, coming into the season, George Pettaway, I would have, if you had told me that Wayne Knight was having this season, I would have said I would have thought George Pettaway, this was the season he would have had. And so I don't think George Pettaway is 100% healthy again. I really don't. I mean, I saw him. He's getting plays here and there. I don't know that he's 100% back. Yeah. So hopefully, and you know how this offense works. You know, they game plan somebody into a game, and next thing you know, they have like some explosive game. I think George Pettaway's game is coming.
I'm calling it now. George Pettaway, App State. He's going to be like, man, we missed this.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I hope so. Last thing before we do transition to App State, and man, we are running long. Before we transition to App State, I do want to give some shout outs on defense, right? Like I really feel like, first off, Aiden Gobira had a game, right? Dude showed up in that game. I think he also had the only sack maybe we had against that kid. Our defensive secondary, Tyler Brown, Jacob Thomas, those dudes came up, made some big tackles, but also Eaglin and Culp, I feel like they lock down their receivers, and those dudes play with attitude, man. I loved it. I love the way Culp plays. That dude is talking trash the entire game. As long as he keeps his head in the game, he's good. Right, and Eaglin is just showing up again. Why that kid might be, a draft pick at some point.
This is why context matter, and this is why actually paying attention to the game matters. Because if you look up the stat sheet, you might see England, you might see Cope. They got 2 tackles apiece. What does that mean from a defensive back standpoint? That just might mean that they didn't have a lot of action coming their way for a reason. Or if they did have a lot of action, then it was an incomplete pass because they were locking up their receiver. And so I don't need you to have 10 tackles. I don't need you to have, do all of this. I need you to be consistent. And these guys have been consistent, almost had an interception out there, right? Which would have been a tough one. I think that was it England? That almost had the interception. And so anyway, these guys did a tremendous job. But like you said, Tyler Brown, 13 tackles. I mean, come on. And Trent Hendricks, we always know he's going to be.
That's his number.
Huh?
That's his number. He wears 13. He had 13
tackles for number 13. And Trent, we all know that he's going to be on top of the stat sheets. We expect him to each and every week. Where Gannon Weathersby? Yeah. Ooh, that's a name.
Yeah.
I don't know how you called a game with that name. But no, he was right behind Trent. I heard Trent talk about him as well when he was doing his media with Dave, and he was just talking about how this guy is the guy that's gonna carry the torch forward. All right, he is coming into his own, and so our linebackers as a whole have done a great job and continue to do a great job. And then our defensive backs. Yeah. I mean, I really like Jacob Thomas. Dude is just, I feel like I said it in week 1, just NFL caliber. He knows how to come in the box, but he also knows how to cover. He also knows where the ball is going and how to be near the ball. So anyway, our defense did great. And you talked about Aiden Gobara coming up with our lone sack. That was at a clutch time, and I'm really happy to see him continue to progress.
Yeah, man, I love the way Jacob Thomas plays. That dude came up and hit Del Rio Wilson once though, and Jacob Thomas got up a little slow. I was worried. And I'm telling you, man, Del Rio Wilson was my favorite. I love that dude.
JT is one of those dudes that don't really think before he which is good for a defender.
JT
not great for the body, but he's good for play.
He's a smart guy. Low key though, he looks crazy.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you really look at him, bro, is crazy.
He don't talk much. You gotta watch those guys that don't talk much.
We gotta watch the quiet dudes. Yeah, bro looks crazy, man. I'm not messing with JT. And last thing I'll say about Marshall, man, who was running their clock during the game? The referees had to reset the clock maybe 10 times. I was like, is Bob Chesney's son, running the clock at Marshall? What are we doing here? It was amateur hour. All right. Yeah. But by all accounts, Marshall had great fans, great atmosphere. And so I need to make that trip at some point. But we got to transition, man. We're running out of time. I want to talk about App State. And I gotta first say, man, for Coach Bob Chesney, you gotta understand, Bob Chesney, that this is the one. Right? They tried to hype up the Blue Ridge rivalry thing or whatever with Liberty, and we care about that Liberty game, but not like this. And they also try to hype up the whole Royal rivalry with Old Dominion and blah, 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 and Marshall, battle for the gavel and all that crap. Let me tell you something, Bob Chesney. This is the one that we want, right? I want this App State win, and I want it to be big, right? So, Vad, App State week, what are your thoughts on App State coming into the Mullet, coming to Bridgeforth, to try to knock us off in the week that we get ranked, like they've done before?
I didn't get a chance to play App State when I was at JMU, so I feel like I'm kind of on the receiving end of all the education that you're giving right now. But just knowing App State as a program and being from North Carolina, these guys have a knack of knocking down the top dogs, right? They have a knack.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. That's how they've made a name for themselves. And that's how they continue to make a name for themselves. Let's just be honest, right? And so, App State, it's very interesting. They're on a 3-game losing streak, right? Very interesting team. They've won 4 games up to this point. They got to win 2 out of the next 3 in order to be bowl eligible. So they're playing to be bowl eligible. So they have a chip on their.
And they weren't bowl eligible last year either.
They weren't. Oh yes,
they were not.
Yeah. So this community, like this App State community, like they're behind the football program, and so they're playing for a bowl game. And of course, we're playing for bigger things too. However, you can make an argument that their chip is a little bit bigger because, they, like you said, they didn't go to a bowl game last year, and they're on a 3-game losing streak, and their 3-game losing streak have been really close games. So not only they're not just losing, but they feel like they are 1 play away. What better opportunity to go and get that 1 play than to play that 1 play to happen against the top dogs who are ranked, the guys who everybody, the pretty, if I'm App State, I'm saying the prima donnas, the pretty boys. I'm using all this type of language this week, right? Because for JMU, because things have gone pretty much for the most part in our favor all season long. Right. We weren't supposed to beat Louisville. Let's just say that, even though we know we were supposed to. On paper, we technically, you can look at that and say, oh, they were supposed to lose that game. However, like things have gone pretty much in our direction. So this App State team is playing with a chip. They lost by 8 points, they lost by 3 points, and they lost by 2 points in their last 3 games. So they feel like that they are 1 play away. And so, this is the one. Like you said, I'm saying that not because I know you hate App State and you just like you dislike App State. I'm not saying it for that reason.
No, I don't dislike App State. I hate App State.
You see, I try to help you. I try to help you. I know you got some buddies.
No. No, I hate them. Sports hate, but I hate them. What? And I will tell you, man, the experience that I had in Boone, North Carolina last year, I took my son to this game. It was maybe one of the worst experiences I've ever had in football. It was awful, man. I've never been treated that way as an away fan in another team's stadium. Never been treated that way. It was awful. It was a classless bunch of people.
Wow.
And I'm not painting all App State fans this way, but the 2,000 or so that I encountered on my way in the stadium and while I was in the stadium were absolutely terrible people.
Oh, man.
It was awful. So I am not an App State fan, and I want Bob Chesney to go out and run the score up and beat this team by 60 points. Right? Because I'm not a fan, bro. And the other thing too, obviously we talked about this, like the way that App State has built their name. They've built their name by knocking off the big dog, right? They knocked off Michigan back in the day during the Armani Edwards years, which he was a great player, man. What a cool guy. I do like him. He was
my teammate in Canada.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, so you're excited that I played against Michael Vick. I'm excited that you played with Armani Edwards. I used to throw the guy
passes in practice for Saskatchewan Rough Rider. He was a wide receiver then. So.
That's right. I forgot he switched to receiver. That's crazy. But then we forget this. A couple of years ago, they went in the College Station and knocked off Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of weeks later, guess who they lost to? James Madison at App, right? So, again, we got a lot of history with this team. Going back to the FCS playoffs when we lost a game because we botched a field goal, I was there. Or we fumbled the ball. I was there in the stands watching this. So, again, my hate and disdain for App State goes a long way. Wow. But, man, a lot of people would say, though, that this team is ready to quit. I don't think there's any quit in this team because that's not really their culture. Yeah. It's kind of like Marshall, right? Marshall, a 4-win team, you would think that they're ready to kind of pack it in. These teams have a lot of history and culture of winning. They're not going to pack it up. But I will say, we do have an opportunity to kick a team while they're down. And if there's any team that I want to kick while they're down, I want to kick this team.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't say it nicely.
Yeah, no doubt. You did not say anything pretty about App State right now. So I gotta come and clean up the mess right now. This team has scored 40. They scored 41 points against a Georgia State team who we only scored what was it, 10?
Yeah.
So
by the way, you're gonna mention Georgia State, one of their wins. You know how many combined wins they have 4 wins this season. You know, the combined win total of the 4 teams they've beaten
What is it?
is the exact same as our win total for the season.
Really?
The teams that they've beaten this season have a combined win total of 8 games, right? That's including Lindenwood, which is an FCS program that was Division II last year. That team's won 4 games this year. Then they beat Oregon State. Oregon State has 2 wins on the season.
And they barely beat Lindenwood, by the way. I think only about a touchdown.
They barely beat Oregon State, right? I mean, they went up big on Oregon State and then let them come back. And then they've also beaten Georgia State, right? And then who has 1 win on the season? And then they beat who is their 4th win? Who is their 4th win? It was somebody with 2 wins. Dang, man.
Was it
so many concussions?
I don't know. We gotta look it up though. Let's look it up.
We gotta look it up. But whoever their 4th win was against, that team also only has 2 wins on the season. Where's our producer?
They won Georgia State. They won. Oh no. They won Oregon State. No. Linwood. Oh, Charlotte. First game of the season.
Charlotte. Yeah. How could I forget? Charlotte has one win on the season as well.
All of that
right?
is rat poison. Okay, I get it. And
I'm just saying. I want to kick them while they're down because they are not a good football team. This is not historical App State. So I do not want our players to go into this thinking that we're playing. You know, maybe I do want them to go into it thinking that, right? Because that'll mean that they're going to prepare and practice as if they're going against the App State of old. This is not the App State of old. We should beat this team by 50.
No, this is JMU versus App State. It's not the App State of old, but it certainly has to be prepared as such. We just talked about how they seasons and sometimes they're down. They've been down before, and yet they come and beat a Michigan, and they come and beat JMU while we're hot, right, in the past. And so I look at this. They had a quarterback who threw for 350 last week. He threw 51 passes. They're putting the ball in his hands and saying, hey, go win us a football game. Anytime a team does that, they have a chance, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying they may not have a full, they may not have the explosive power to make it happen, but they're going to put the ball in their quarterback's hand and test you. And anytime you give a quarterback multiple opportunities to fix it, I remember playing early on when I transferred from Georgia Tech to James Madison. Man, those first couple of games were rough in the air for me because I'm just getting my feet back wet, reading coverages. I didn't have to do that at my last school. Didn't have to read coverages, didn't have to throw it in tight windows and different things. But the more chances you gave me to get it right, the more it started to click, and the more I became better as a quarterback, and our team became better as, having some type of identity. And so when I look at this App State team, I kind of look at it like that, especially them saying, hey, man, we got to put the ball in our quarterback's hands. This guy went 34 for 51, 348 yards, and they lost by 2 points to a Georgia State team or Georgia Southern, excuse me. Of course, we took care of business there, but again, they also had a receiver, Jaden, number 15, went 13 receptions for 160 yards. I mean, again, we just talked about
if
our
you remember,
backs.
Georgia Southern is not a good.
Okay, I understand that. I'm looking at the stats, and I'm also looking at the production of these guys. They've made plays, and when you make plays, it becomes familiar to you that you want to make another play. And you feel like no matter who you're playing against, I'm familiar with success and I'm familiar with making plays. And so,
no question.
Anyway, that's my take.
I think, by the way, I think Swan is, I know he had some rough games. He's prone to turning the ball over. That guy will throw you some interceptions. And what's great about him is when he throws interceptions at the worst times, right? Your quarterback can throw an interception at a pretty opportune time. It's like, all right, we're in a pretty good part of the field. Our defense can come on and get us all, out of this. That guy throws interceptions from the 1 yard line, like red zone interception.
That's gut wrenching.
with that said, he can make all the throws. Like, he's got a big time arm. He can throw the ball. He's got some weapons at receiver that can catch the ball. App State's always going to have athletes. I also think their running back, Delvin, is a really good running back. I think he's come in and probably had a better season than most people expected after their starting receiver, starting running back, their star guy, what's his name? Kanye Roberts. I was going to say Kanye West. After Kanye Roberts got hurt to start the season, Delvin's come in, and I don't think there's any drop-off between Delvin and Kanye Roberts. So I do think they have a very capable offense. I just don't think that, again, if we think we are a CFP team, right, which is what our fan base is saying right now, we think we're the number 24 team in the country right now, we got to go out and beat a team like App State, who's struggling, who has only beaten 4 really bad football teams this season. We got to go out and just make a statement against this team at home, at the Mullet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, bro.
Right?
I'm with you. I think no, I'm with you. Our offense and even our defense, even this last game, we showed multiple fronts. We showed multiple things that we can do. We ran a lot of 12 personnel last week. So I think that App State is going to look at this film, and they're not really going to know how to fully prepare for a JMU team. Shout out to our coaches. Our coaches have put a lot of different looks out there on the field, to the point where it's now like, are they going to be a week 2? Like, are they going to play us like they did in week 2? Are they going to play us like they did in week 4? Are they going to play us like they did last week? We don't really know, but they've shown that they can do this, and they've shown that they can do this. But we have shown that we can be successful in multiple things, which makes it really hard for a coaching staff and a team to come in and have some success.
Yeah, man. And by the way, the game is sold out.
It better be.
I think JMU just announced it. I mean, officially sold out. They're going to come into a hostile environment. And by the way, JMU fans, when they go low, we go high, right? So we're going to make sure that if their fans show up, they're not going to have the experience that I had last year with my son, my 14-year-old son, getting snowballs thrown at us on the way into the stadium, right? They're not going to have that experience. And by the way, I'm saying that I'm going to take it easy on these guys, but bro, I played football in the NFL at the Vet, right? In Philadelphia, and I was treated better in Philadelphia as a player than I was as a fan in Boone last year. Right? So
I can go ahead and tell you right now, they about to cut this clip up. They about to give it to you. They about to be on social media.
Let me tell you something. Bro, if I could suit up, this would be the game I would want to suit up for. 100%.
Let's go. If I throw you that ball like Alonzo threw Dwayne Knight, what you doing with it?
Hey, I'm going to the crib. Let's go. I'm trying to run people over. Now I won't be able to walk the next day, but I'm going for it. And I will tell you, man, I do listen to there's a podcast, an App State podcast called the Black and Gold Podcast, and I can tell you, man, their fans, they would love nothing more for their team to come in. The crappy season that they're having, they've already tanked it in, right? They don't think this team is worth anything. But they would want nothing more than to come into JMU and ruin our season, right? I mean, literally, the guy said it verbatim. Listen to him say it. We want to come ruin their season. That's what they want to do. And hopefully, again, Bob Chesney is stressing that with our team, that, you know what? We got to go out and perform as if, Anyway, we really, really want this.
Do you think the NIL is affecting the new structure of college football are affecting the teams like App State, who goes into obviously they were famous for going into Michigan and beating them. Players are now just instead of going to a App State, they can just go somewhere else after 1 year or whatever. Do you think that's affecting? Do you think we'll still see stories like App State of the past, or is that kind of over?
Yeah, no, I think it starts with the leader. Right? I think you have to try to find a way to have consistency in your head coaching position. Otherwise, if you don't, a G5 program like us or an App State, we're going to struggle. If you can't have a Bob Chesney State in a program for 4 to 5 years, if it's every 2 years you're trying to replace a head coach, you have no chance in this new landscape. You have no chance, which is why I hope Chesney stays, because the challenges that App State, the downfall of App State, you know what it's been? It's been their success. You have a guy that has success like Drinkowitz. He goes to, I think he went to Louisville. Then the next guy comes in. He has success. He leaves. The next guy comes in. And then what do they say? We finally got a guy who is an App State alum in Sean Clark. God rest his soul. We finally got an alum in Sean Clark. And what does he do? He underperforms, and they have to fire him. So now they got a new coach. So when you have a program where you've had 4 coaches in like 10 or 12 years, you can't build a program in that way. The best thing that happened for us is Cignetti stuck around for 5 years. We need Bob Chesney to do the same, because I'm telling you, bro, if he's out of here, we're going to have one of these four-win seasons, because it's just so hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice. The next guy coming in, I think Chesney's an exceptional leader. I think what Chesney did last year to go 9-4 after losing the entire team, I thought was masterful. And so if you don't have that consistency at the head coaching position, forget about it.
Yeah. That's strong, bro. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm on my soapbox. All right. So let's go. We're running along, man. Let's go to our favorite segment. What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
So my what you talking about, Willis, this week, that, you know, I feel like I'm angry today, man. I gotta, what is it, Monday or something? I gotta take a chill pill.
It must be,
but my what you talking about, Willis?
Week. That's why. Ding, ding, ding.
Bro, I am on one right now. But my what you talking about, Willis, though, goes out. I gotta wag my finger on this one. Goes out to all those elitist American Conference fans who are saying that JMU doesn't belong in the CFP conversation. I got to tell y'all, what are you talking about, Willis? They want to point to Memphis's record and say, oh, we beat Arkansas. Bro, Arkansas's won 2 games this season. Arkansas is a bad SEC school, right? I mean, that's the same as like a Old Dominion beating Virginia Tech and hanging their hat on that. Virginia Tech's a bad ACC team, right? So Memphis, you lost to a bad UAB school, right? A 3-win team. So don't lose that game, and then you wouldn't have this conversation, right? Don't lose to Tulane. Tulane, you lost to, who did they lose to? UTSA. Don't lose to a bad UTSA team. A team that lost to Texas State, a Sun Belt team who we boat raced, right? So I don't want to hear all this crap. And then, of course, South Florida, of course, right? They beat Florida, a bad SEC team as it stands. And South Florida also beat Boise State, kind of a middle-of-the-road Boise State team that lost their Heisman Trophy winner, right? So I know I'm the angry guy right now. All these American teams with this elitist attitude, like the American Conference is so much better than us and so much better than the Sun Belt. What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, man. You know, you mentioned like 3 schools, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, and Florida. They all 3 of them have one thing in common. They lost their coach, and they're really underperforming. Their coaches got fired, right? And so
exactly.
You can't really – it's almost like you can't hold your hat on it, because like if your coach is getting fired, that means that the season is not going well and the record is not going well.
That's
and the
exactly
program
right.
is not going well. So and it means that the program is not meeting the standard that it once was. So you can't still keep that program at that standard, you know what I mean, of a win. And so, yeah, man, I'm with you. What you talking about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've just seen so much, and again, social media is not a real place, right? It's a terrible place. But a lot of the chatter is that JMU doesn't belong. Yeah. And you know, I wish we had the opportunity. I got a good buddy that I played with on the Giants, Dave Deal. He's like the offensive line coach there. I DM'd him the other day. I was like, man, it's too bad you guys weren't on our schedule this year. He hasn't replied, by the way. So Dave, if you're watching this, I know he's not. But if you are, please reply, because I want to get you guys on the schedule next year. All right, Vat, we've gone long, man. It's time for us to take it to the house, man. And, you know, as we take it to the house, I want to talk about expectations and pressure. Because you know what's funny about success? Everybody thinks success is the finish line. But really, success is where the pressure actually starts. JMU is ranked now and in the CFP conversation. And you know what? When you're ranked, you carry expectations. People look at you different. People expect things from you. People assume greatness because you've now shown them greatness is possible. Now, this program knows that feeling. We've lived this movie before, right? In 2022, JMU got ranked for the very first time in FBS history, and the very next week, we went to Statesboro and lost to Georgia Southern. In 2023, an undefeated top 20 JMU team got punched in the mouth by App State. And those teams, Georgia Southern and App State, they weren't more talented than us, but that's what pressure does. Pressure changes decision-making. Pressure changes how you breathe. Pressure changes the weight of mistakes. Pressure makes you flub one from the middle of the fairway when you've only got 95 yards to the pin. That I do it all the time. As we all know, though, pressure bursts pipes. So this next stretch for JMU, this is the test. Not are you good enough? We already know they're good enough. The test now is, can they handle expectations and the pressure that comes with those expectations? And that's a real world lesson for every person listening to this right now. Most people in life try to avoid expectations. They intentionally underpromise, so they have the option to over-deliver. Because if they underpromise, they think they're protecting themselves from failure, from judgment, or criticism. But really, it's hiding. It's avoiding pressure. My kids know that in the Joyce household, the phrase, "I'll try," is not allowed, because trying is excusing failure in advance. The elite don't avoid high expectations. The elite choose high expectations. The elite don't avoid pressure. They invite pressure. The elite say, no, I'm going to over-deliver without lowering the bar first. JMU now has a different level of responsibility because we can all see very clearly what's possible this season. And this team right now has the chance to prove that pressure does not have to burst pipes. Pressure can forge diamonds, hopefully on a championship ring. So as we take this ride the rest of the way, remember this in your own career, your own work, and your own goals. Don't duck expectations. Run towards them. Be the person who can deliver when people expect you to deliver. That's the difference between being good once and being great consistently. But this is where it gets real. This is where JMU gets to show the world who they actually are, and hopefully take this season to the house.
Let's go.
All right, Vat, we've taken it to the house, man. I'm sorry for getting so fired up, man. I'm just, I'm very passionate about this JMU team. My wife asked me this week, she was like, why do you care so much? And you know what? I didn't have an answer for her, but I care because I do care about this team and this program. So hopefully we go out on Saturday. I'm going to be there. Hopefully we go out and get this dub, man. I am so fired up. I hate App State.
Yeah, bro. You say you care because you love this program and you love this team. No, that ain't the reason. You care because you was getting hit with snowballs last year and you hate App State. He hate App State.
Let's go, man. Let's go get App State.
Take it to the house, man. Baby.
Hate App State. Let's go. Go Dukes.